I have to be honest with you, I didn't even know they made this. And yes, it is sitting on my desk right now. After I went to eBay, looked it up, looked at the photos, ordered it, waited for it to ship, checked it out on TF Wiki. Only when I got the box home and looked at it did I realize what this was, that this is the assault craft, the ones we saw throughout Dark of the Moon. The one Sam rides up to Dylan's window and saves Carly and shoots the place up. The terrifying one that showed up a little bit earlier than that, just murdering the humans until the wreckers came along and took the thing out. I think even Brains and Willie at one point took over one of these. And all I remember about the movie is these ships were pretty deadly and terrifying. They were taking out US fighter jets and just wreaking havoc all over Chicago. And honestly, until I received this today, I didn't realize that this is what this was. Now, what is this package? This is from Dark of the Moon, the Cyberverse line, where you've got all the cool action sets. We had got the Ark in that line, and we got a bunch of other ones. I have another one sitting right here right now. This is the Megatron Blast Wave weapons base that I'll get to eventually. That actually transforms into what looks like a pretty cool version of his Mack truck, but also has a battle base mode and attack jet mode. I already had the Bumblebee one, and there are a couple others as well. I will have them all eventually. As I've said many times, I'm working on a complete Dark of the Moon Mech Tech line. You see the Mech Tech figures back there. Quick sneak peek of the Mech Tech holder from Takara. I'll be doing that video eventually. It's going to be the one-stop shop for every single Dark of the Moon Mech Tech figure made, but it's also going to have some little tidbits of other things from the line, like the Cyberverse line. And that's what we're going to talk about quickly today. This is the Starscream Orbital Assault Carrier. So just a quick look at the box. Yes, these boxes are so much better than the boxes we received today. Another thing I say over and over again, I love the figures we're getting today. There's a lot of cool stuff, but the packaging is boring. The packaging back in the day, back in the 2000s and the 2010s, was just way cooler. You know, and the Unicron trilogy line, Armada, Cybertron, all that stuff. It's just so much cooler. It's just boring now. It is what it is, though. I guess these were a little bit more toys than today. It's all marketed to adult collectors. And, you know, are we not allowed to have fun? Are we not allowed to have fun? Because this is fun and we're going to have fun with it today. So anyway, yes, here's the package. You see the window. The only kind of issue with these action sets were the windows were kind of dark. Even with the opening on the top, it's kind of hard to see what's going on in there. And that's just not my lighting setup. That's just kind of how it is. Unless you're standing under the bright sun. I don't know, it's maybe the backdrop in there is just a little too dark or whatever. It still looks really cool. So you see it is, in fact, a 3-in-1 action set, as it says right there. On the side here, you do see the little biography for Starscream. He's a master tactician and pilot and a dangerous fighter, whether he's on his own or behind the controls of a Cybertronian assault craft. Only the most foolish Autobots dare to challenge him in the air, for that is his element. With enough firepower at his disposal, there's no battlefield he cannot control, absolutely. And he did wreak havoc in Dark of the Moon for sure. He was a terror for everybody. On the back here, you see 3-in-1. You have a battle station mode that will launch missiles. You have this pretty cool looking space cruiser mode that the smaller, the little Legion class or Commander class, whatever it is, Starscream will ride on. And then, of course, you have kind of what I'm most excited about, that assault craft mode. And down here, you do have the ad for Transformers Prime, still going strong at the time, and the Transformers.com website. Over here, you have the technical data there for, I suppose, yeah, for Starscream, because this is ultimately a Starscream set, but we're really excited about that assault craft. So let's go ahead and crack into this thing. And I will note, while I do think this is sealed and brand new, it really seems to be in there. It is quite beaten up, and it looks like someone's messed with the box a little bit. So I don't know if it's 100% new or not, but I don't care. As long as everything's in good shape, seems to be brand new, that's perfectly fine by me. There's always this one part that hooks onto the tab of the main thing you're trying to open. If you're trying to take care of the boxes, it's that one part that forces you to kind of tear everything up. But we got it out of there carefully, although I don't know if I'm actually going to keep this box anyway. There is our main stuff. Down here you see we have, interestingly enough, well, you can't see that. You have a pretty cool display down here on the bottom, kind of packed in like that. So that doesn't really show up as well in the box, but we're going to go ahead and bring that out and get a look at that. So here we have the Battle of Chicago scene that we had inside the box. It was definitely hard to see when it was in the box, but now you can get kind of a better look at it. I suppose we could kind of open it up a little bit, fold it out if we wanted. Can't lay it fully flat because it kind of ends right here. You got little flaps, but I guess if we take those and tuck these in right there, hold up, actually you have that. So you could fold these down, and then you have almost kind of a mural thing right there like that, which is kind of cool. But you can also tuck these in here on either side and get kind of a cool little panorama that you could display the set in. So that's kind of fun, but for now we will set it aside. So let's go ahead and cut this out of the package now. Thankfully, just one bit of rope holding that together, and check this thing out. This is too cool. Here we have the assault craft, the ones that wreaked so much havoc in Dark of the Moon. And I had, like I said, no idea that any version of this existed. Honestly, I'd love to see a better version, like a leader's class size version of these things, because they were terrifying. Sure, they don't transform, but if you can make one the size that Bumblebee could fit in, or Sam could kind of crawl around on top of, that would actually be pretty cool for the Dark of the Moon fans, because these things were such a big part of it. It gets kind of open underneath here, but one that helps you stand it up, which is pretty cool. In fact, it even rolls, so that's kind of fun. So yeah, you see it's got wheels on the bottom there. Coming in closer, just getting a look at some of the details. Try to keep that in focus. There we go. You got the Decepticon logo up here. But anyway, that is the assault craft right there. Let's set that aside for now. Here's we got the one missile in here. Go ahead and pop that out, and we'll figure out where that goes in a second. Now we just got a free Starscream. So the craft was tied on with one thing, and Starscream has like 4 bits holding him in, of course. And here we have Starscream out of there, our tiny little Starscream. He doesn't look too bad. He's definitely small, and you know, but as far as that goes, he looks pretty good. It looks like, judging from the kibble on his back, he's going to look a little better in his jet mode than he does in the bot mode here. But let's go ahead and see if we can stand him up there. He seems to stand up, so okay, so that's good. So let's now just get a closer look at this set. That's going to get annoying real fast, so let's grab Starscream off of the arc here and get a closer look. So here we have Starscream in his robot mode. Yes, he is a little goofy looking. He is very small. And again, this is kind of what you're going to expect from a smaller battle set, actions play set like this, but it's perfectly fine for what it is for this setup. He goes great with the arc here as well, the arc being one of the main pieces of the whole action setup, the Dark of the Moon Cyberverse sets we had. So he'll go along quite nicely with that. Otherwise, there's not too much more to say about him. Can get a little closer here, get a little bit of a look at the head sculpt there. I mean, you know, that is Starscream, sort of, and you got a little gold paint to mimic the canopy there, the cockpit for the jet, so that's pretty cool. Otherwise, he is just his basic Dorito design, and he doesn't look too bad. He looks kind of fine. As for his weapon, stand him up right here for a second. Those big gangly arms. See if we can get him standing up. And got his feet messed up. There we go. This is the gun that he comes with right here. And not too much about it. It does have a 5mm port and a 3mm port. And this is what takes the missile. So you can put the missile in just like that to load it up, make sure it goes in the right way. I've had, with my experience with these, the springs sometimes literally just die in them. That did not, though. That shot really well, so that's good. I'll have to find that in a minute. But anyway, for Starscream to hold this, let's focus again, you got to use that 3mm port. So you can take Starscream and you can grab his hand here and attach with that 3mm port. Just like so, and he can hold the gun-ish, well. like so. So he can sort of hold the gun in kind of an awkward way, but he can hold his gun. No shot he's going to stand up like this, and maybe, unless maybe he's firing in the air. And you see he doesn't grip it very well anyway. But anyway, that is Starscream and the robot mode. We'll keep him here for now because we want to see him in the second part of this setup. So for now, we'll go back to the assault craft here and take a closer look at it. So taking a closer look, which we've kind of done already, just another once around with this thing. There is a lot of nice detail to this thing for sure. If we get in a little closer, you can see the little panel work and along the sides here, definitely a lot of machinery going on. I love the rockets on the back. Those look really cool. And you got a little copper gold paint up here on top along with the Decepticon logo. On this side, what you have is that you have a gun here that will pop up like this, and you fold this out like this, and that's kind of how they're supposed to look. I think definitely when they're in attack mode. I think, if I remember correctly, the gun's definitely moved around a little bit. I think this also pivoted too, but oops, we don't transform them yet. But this doesn't turn here like left or right or anything like that. But you can bring these bits out like so, and that is where the other gun comes into play. You have a 5mm port here and the 5mm port on the gun, so we can take the gun and we can stick it in right there, and then you have that more symmetrical, and you have sort of the molded missile here, but here you can actually fire the missile. So I found the missile that I shot originally, so we can take it and we can stick that back in there, lock that into place, and now he's actually ready to properly attack. So he can come flying in. Maybe we're fighting the Ark. I believe these are what took the Ark down and crashed it on the moon, if I'm correct. But anyway, so we can fire at the Ark there. There we go. So that's pretty cool. Again, I love this set simply for this. I can see a lot of fun you can have with the assault craft in your displays and your Dark of the Moon displays for sure. I do have some of the wreckers hanging around, so you know, I'm not sure how well he scales with anything, but you've got Leadfoot there. You even have Sam Witwicky, Human Alliance, Sam Witwicky here. We could bring him in and have a bit of fun. He could be, I guess, hanging out on the outside of this thing while, you know, we pretend like there's a bumblebee in there flying it for sure. So again, it would be cool to have a cool larger version of this craft where you could do that. So even if you have, like, here's the action set, battle bunker bumblebee, I believe it is, and I don't remember exactly how to, but it wasn't too complicated to transform bumblebee. Essentially, that is it with the arms, like so. So you got your little bumblebee. You know, he's not. I guess you could stick him right there, and we can pretend like he's piloting the thing. So again, a lot of fun to be had. But I think this would also be cool, kind of hanging above a Dark of the Moon display for sure. You can get 2 or 3 of these things. I think that'd be kind of fun, taking on the wreckers. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I really love this assault carrier. I think it just looks super cool. And it has also the Pew Pew missile that you can shoot, which is really fun. And again, it has the rack under here, so it kind of roll across the ground. We might have to get the Ark out of the way here for now. So now back to Starscream real quick. It should be, I don't know if that was up or down the whole time, but obviously for robot mode, this can be up, but we are going to go ahead and transform him now. So to do that, we're just going to lift this up, cover up his head, and we're going to bring this bit back like that. We can kind of bring the wings up, the legs. I believe we want to turn out this way, and we can bring them up where they'll just sort of sit in place. But maybe like that. And then the arms come down like so. And then I believe they will sort of, yeah, fold them like this. And you got a little tab and tab slot there. You can kind of push it in there and just kind of hold that hand in place. Nothing really tabs in too tightly, just kind of holds it together. So now you have the pretty cool jet mode. So this is Starscream in his jet mode. Again, it looks pretty good. It's very small, but it looks pretty cool. Underneath, of course, he's just kind of folded up a bit. But regardless, for the smaller action sets, little battle sets, he looks pretty cool. And he will, in theory, fit into the back of this guy. I believe they show him, you kind of have to open this up to get him in there, but he will set inside there. So you have these bits here. There's actually There we go, give ourselves some more room. You can kind of take this apart like that and bring this down, and then you can take Starscream, tuck them in there, and then push this back up into place and get them all the way in there. Maybe we need to go the other way with them. Bring that up, push that back into place, and then you can kind of store Starscream inside there. It's a little silly, but hey, as far as storage and keeping the whole set together, that's certainly an option, and that's kind of cool. But anyway, we'll go ahead and free Starscream from there. And now we'll just go ahead and get this transformed into its alternate mode. So for battle station mode, I believe it's as simple as pulling this up like that, and then you get a nice chair there. And then you want to bring the guns up. So you take these bits and you actually fold them up, up like that, gently, because they're just on there with a little bit of friction. So you can bring them up like this, fold these bits down. Now, I think it's just supposed to set like this, but you can see they kind of fall forward. I don't know if there's a way to get this. So yeah, just verifying, it's just supposed to look like this, but I honestly can't really get them to stay in place very well. Maybe over time the joints have gotten a little loose and I'm not going to push too hard. But anyway, the battle station mode would be kind of like this. And you can take his gun that was on the side, take that out of here, and then there is a port right on top here, so you can take the gun, stick it in there. So you can still use your missile if you want. And then have these up like this. And Starscream could set in there and do some damage. But again, I'm having a little trouble getting that to stay up. And again, I just think it's because it's older and we need to tighten these joints a little bit somehow to have it hold into place like this. But this is not the mode that I'm as interested in. This is sort of a just cool battle station where Starscream could stand there and shoot some guns, and that's fine. But I do want to see the third mode, which is the sort of carrier mode. So let's transform him into that. So to go from battle station to space cruiser mode, we want to remove the gun from here. We're going to put it in this slot right here, just like so. And then we want to take these, put these back down on either side, like that. And then we want to fold these back in and bring these underneath. And these are actually going to fold up, like so, on either side, just like this. And then we're just going to take this whole bit and bring it down and back like that. And now we have what is actually a pretty cool looking space carrier mode. That then, of course, it has some divots right here that we can take Starscream and I believe kind of use the his little wheels or his little nubbins there that kind of hold him in place, and so Starscream can ride on top of that, just like that. So that's pretty cool too. That is the third mode. Yeah, it's not too much, but again, for a toy that when this thing came out was what, maybe 10 or 15 bucks, I think there's a pretty decent little play factor in it for sure. And for me, certainly, the best mode is going to be the assault craft modes. If I can quickly get it back into that, folding these back into place. I think I want to go around that way, have a little more luck with that. Bring this whole thing back down, and then we can bring the guns back out, just like so. And there we have the really cool assault crafts from Dark of the Moon, the things for which I didn't know there was a toy until today, and now I'm kind of happy I do, because this is definitely going to be worked somehow into my Dark of the Moon display in a very fun way, because I think this is really cool to have. And of course, it's pretty cool that you get a little Starscream with it as well. So that's a lot of fun. So anyway, this was just a quick little snapshot, a quick little trip through nostalgia, I hope, for you, for maybe you were the right age when these came out to get hyped about these. As a kid, I was buying these for my sons at the time, but it's nice to take a nostalgic look at them. Starscream and the Orbital Assault Carrier. Anyway, that's a quick look and a flashback review for you. I hope you enjoyed that and hope you have a great day.